7:35. We're missing one who was supposed to be here. I'm going to suggest that you go ahead and start the meeting, call it to order.
All right, good evening, everyone. It is now 7:35, and I will call to order the June 8th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Let's begin with a roll call. Those who are here,
Joe Kalea.
Sheldon Cohn.
Chris Kombieski.
Ben Falick, Chair.
Bree Stacker Smart.
Vincent Verna.
All right, we have a quorum, and we may have an additional member join us shortly. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Everyone should have a hard copy.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have an agenda. Proceeding with that agenda, the third item is the approval of our March 9th minutes. Anyone have any changes for the March 9th minutes, or I will entertain a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain. I wasn't at the meeting.
All right, we have a approval for the minutes, which brings us to our first of two variance requests this evening. We're starting with with Hendry, yes? You're here, we can do the tables fine, just if it's, into the microphone. If you want to give us a quick introduction, then we usually go to the city for a little audio-visual presentation and open it up.
Sure. Mark Filer, Amy Filer, my wife behind me, one of my three kids behind me over there, and our builders, Dave and Kim Sandoval. We went through the Planning Commission meeting a couple months ago, and we're asking for a small dimensional variance for a covered patio in the rear lot. If you look, and you'll see it's an irregular lot shape, so, these Hendry houses are kind of unique in a sense where they're not square or perpendicular. If it was rectangular, we wouldn't be here because it would be enough square feet to add a couple hundred square feet and a covered patio. And we tried to kind of align our position with the four zoning board standard variances through the flyer. So I don't know if you want me to go through that now. I can turn it over to Hank to kind of give some color.
Yeah, you can, I'll just close it. I'm in the notice area. I don't have any conflict of interest about participating this evening. So, yeah, you can take us through the four criteria.
Sure, yeah, the four, one, we just want to align, as it relates to practical difficulty. There's a unique property condition. It's definitely an irregular and tapered lot. It's unlike standard rectangular parcels. It's also a corner lot, and because of that, it has unique dual setback constraints. So it definitely reduces the usable building envelope that we're looking for. No detriment to surrounding properties. It's in the rear of the home. It's not blocking anything. There's not additional sound or, temperature variances that it's going to create. We spoke to every single neighbor. We put letters in there. So on both sides of the house, the person that's directly across the street that looks at it, another neighbor, as well as we have not only our builders, but there's a Huntington Woods architect designer that does a lot of work here, Kimberly Thomas, who also has been very involved in the project, and she's got a letter in there as well. Hardship not self-created. I mean, obviously it's not self-created because the lot's configured the way that it is. And then minimum variance necessary, it's really just a small variance in the back to add a covered patio on space that's, going to be built.
All right, let's turn over to the city for some additional context.
Thank you. Just to clarify what they're looking for, and I'll give it to you exactly, they're going from 25%, which is allowed, to 28.7%. And it's actually approximately about 400 square feet. So why do they need that? When they have this house that exists there, the house that exists there that they're knocking down faces Nadine. So what does that mean for them? Their challenge is they have to decide, once the lot is vacated and once the lot is going to be changed, they have to front on Henry. So as a result, they still had to fit the attached garage, they had to fit everything in and still have some form of rear yard, which is what you can see right by where the lot 606 is. This area here is the only yard they've got. The front yard that they have is huge in comparison to what they have in the backyard. So the problem then becomes, how do they do this? So they have the front, they have their setbacks maintained, they're correct. You see how they stepped back the 3 bays of the garage? They had to do that in order to maintain the 18 feet from the door that they had to have in order for a car to be able to park in front of the door. So they accomplished that, but in doing so, they took up some of the space that was on the front, towards the front of the house, and they've used it facing the side, which is fine. Then the house has to step in because the building envelope, it changes with the curvature of the lot. So they still have to maintain their setbacks. So the problem then became is they had no reasonable way to get out of the back of the house. So what they've done is they've asked for a covered lanai porch, which is, as most of you probably know or have them, are pretty big in the city of Huntington Woods. So, and part of the reason for that is it does give them some outside space that's covered in case of some inclement weather or just to have a space outside, period. Other than that, they have a very small backyard behind that. So what does this space do? The special unique conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved, and which are not generally applicable to all other land, structures, or buildings in the same district. So this is one of the most difficult lots in the city to design for. The irregular shape has a good amount of land, but not any usable land, as you can see from the survey. So not only that, what they've done is they've also gone ahead and they've designed their space, their runoff, their grading and drainage so that it doesn't affect any neighboring properties. So as a result, that space that they have, they need outside. The other little space, the other little portion of that is for just a covered, part of the covered area. I believe that's in the front, am I right? Yeah, so it's a small amount that they're asking for. So in the scheme of things, 400 square feet may seem like a lot, but it really isn't in the lot area in general. So correct me if I'm wrong, but this lot was like 10,000 square feet? Okay.
Yep.
11,000 square feet. So you've got 11,000 square feet. They're asking for 400. So in order to make this plan work for them. The second is the lot configuration itself was exceptionally challenges. The square foot allowed is under. The shape of the lot allowed for no real outside room. So again, I wanted to put this up there so you could see it. But this was all there because of them, you know. This was condition number 3. This is all there. The lot was there before the filers bought the lot. The way that the house designed was designed because they have virtually to shoehorn this in order to get it to match what the constraints of the lot are. There have been no adverse communications from residents that I have seen. I've attached letters of support. They come before you with planning commission approval, subject to the variance. The last thing is that, pardon me, a literal interpretation of the provisions of this ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of this ordinance, that the variance is the minimum necessary. The placement of the house on this lot is somewhat unique. The placement of the previous house, which is going away, was also unique. The garage placement was challenging, and as the lot and the house had to taper, it led to little to no backyard, which in Huntington Woods is where most gatherings take place. So again, there should be no runoff concerns, and the Planning Commission has approved it at their level. And with that having been said, I'm sure that they could answer any questions that you might have. The elevations, everything was met and approved at the Planning Commission level. So what we're looking at here is strictly some space. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. I'm sure Mr. Fire will.
Thank you. That's very helpful. I don't have my little cheat sheet in front of me. We need to take public comment at some point.
You can take public comment. My suggestion is that you wait until everybody's spoken.
Sure.
And then take public comment before you vote, so that way the audience has the benefit of hearing what your
Excellent.
thoughts might be.
All right, so if anyone has thoughts, questions, we can hear from the board.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll ask one question. I noticed there's a area of the front porch, the front porch, at least appears by the drawing, if I've got this mistaken, please tell me. Seems to have a portion extended into the front yard. The front porch seems to be in two pieces. Okay? One of which is, it looks to be 6 by 12. Is that the part of the front porch that extends into the front yard?
That is correct.
Okay,
The space that's behind the build-to line, as you can see there, is that 8.58 by 12. That's behind the build-to line, and the front porch is allowed to go into the required front setback by 6 feet plus 2 feet for steps. if
yeah, I get that. My question is, that's 72 square feet. And if we're talking about a variance that's the minimum required to achieve a usable, this is my formulation, it's not what's in the ordinance, to achieve a reasonable and usable piece of property, and given the configuration of the lot, I don't see why that 72 feet is a necessary part of the design in order to have a usable piece of, it may be convenient, it may be nice, I'm not arguing that, but the standard is what is one in which we're supposed to give the minimum variance necessary in order to accomplish, a usable design. And I'm curious about that 72 feet. If you could address that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I think in the front, it's really more just so it helps dissipate rain or water coming down, so you have a covered front door, in a sense, to be able to walk into the house. It's really, that was,
Well, but is the
Yeah.
front door behind that 72
Yeah,
feet?
so the
Yes,
yeah.
72 feet is that area, like, I don't know if you have the
Okay.
elevation, the first elevation, it's that archway right there, so it's kind of hard to see dimension, because it's not 3D, but it's,
So the
it's
door
that
isn't
archway.
behind,
The door
This-
is set back
6 feet. from
6
the-
feet.
Right here, this Sheldon is
Okay.
set back to
And
6
that
feet.
little, just that little, off-centered eave
Okay.
right there, that's the front porch,
okay, all right.
Yeah.
So the part next to it that's sort of
yes,
indents,
Right.
yes.
sorry about the imprecise language, it is just in front of some windows.
Yep.
Right.
It's not an access point.
right.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, and that, how big is that area?
Because had that
That's
bumped
around
out,
80.
that would have exceeded the square foot allowance from a house perspective.
Right.
Well, I'm just wondering the necessity of that particular coverage, that's identified as the front porch that's next to the part that's in
Right.
front of the door.
This design was a little challenging when we were doing it because, as you can tell in the front there, a lot of the square footage is allotted to that entryway. And that just had to happen because the garage is off of the front of the house. So a lot of times when you have a front garage like that, you'll have like kind of this long passageway to get to the livable space in the back. And so in order to minimize the square footage, because we had to stay under a particular square footage, we had to have that sort of indentation right there where it has the covered porch.
Is that
And,
part covered as well?
Yes, so if that wasn't covered, it would just be like this open area there. It
Got it.
wouldn't really work aesthetically
Okay,
as well.
got it.
So
I'm
that
just
was
trying to
sort of
fit
the
myself
direction.
into the language in the ordinance.
Yeah, and would you,
I'm not saying it's not reasonable.
yeah, we have renderings better if you want to see like some AI type renderings of what it'll actually look like.
No, what's the size of that particular?
That was around.
You're looking at
Around 80, yeah.
Yeah.
10 feet by 9 feet 10.
Okay, got it. All right, that's really the only question I have about this.
What I think the trade-off of was having that indented was hoping that that would give them the architectural feature of that front porch extension. So even though it's not quite quid pro quo and they're not, they do have a bit of covering on that other label area that's front porch. By taking that and cutting that back in, they were hoping, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they were hoping that that would go ahead and make up some of the difference for
All right,
that.
I'm not
Okay, this-
arguing aesthetics
Okay.
here. Okay, I'm
Okay.
strictly talking about why is that piece there and what function it doesn't have. Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody else? Okay, well, we'll have more opportunity to discuss after public comment and a motion. So I'll now open the floor to public comment particular to this project and limited to 2 minutes per person.
Hi there, Susan Considine, I live on LaSalle. I just wanted to note, this came before the Planning Commission, and in my experience watching them, I haven't seen evidence that they look over stormwater, so if we're allowing a house to be larger, we should have evidence that it can manage it. So I see on the southern elevation, there's no downspouts. On the western elevation, the southwest downspouts are pointing south toward the southern neighbor. On the eastern elevation, the southeast downspout is pointing south toward the southern neighbor. And the northern elevation, I'm assuming there's a northwest downspout, missing. And so I'm assuming that the downspouts don't drop on the driveway and the public sewer's not going to be asked to manage a lot of this water. So I know there's some fancy drawings about rain gardens and catch basins, but it's not clear which downspouts are directed to catch basins. Also, I'm curious for something like this. I did go into BSA Online and read the Noack and Frous reviews, but I'm just curious, were there any calculations done based on the roof, the slope, where things are going, all the impervious surface, to make sure that these systems can actually manage the water? Because I did not see anything about that. So I hope that you guys will step in and ask, because Planning Commission, I think, doesn't think stormwater is part of their purview. So again, I hope you'll ask where the stormwater is going. Thank you.
Thank you. Unless there's anyone else, we'll close public comment and return to the board for a motion.
Okay. Move to grant the appeal for the following variance, section 40-4.03, R1A through R1E, one-family district. Schedule regulations for the following variance at 26120 Henry for an additional 400 square feet additional lot coverage. They're requesting 28.7% where 25% is allowed, as it meets the requirement for a dimensional variance.
I second.
Any further discussion before we take a vote? All right, then, my only amendment would be just to clarify Henry. It sounded like Henry, but we know what you meant. So we can take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Congratulations. Good luck.
Mr. Chair, can I ask, in light of the reduced number of people who are present
Yes.
on the board, what is the necessary count in order to approve?
Is it four? Four to pass.
Thank you.
All right.
Sheldon, you've served on too many boards.
Is it a rhetorical question or?
No,
Too much time with the family dog. All right. I broke the pen. All right. Moving on to agenda item number 5. This is a variance request for 10084 Ludlow. So you can start us off, and we'll get to hear from everybody.
Thank you very much. My name's Scott Kuby. This is my wife Paula. Our kind neighbor to the east, Shirley Malamud, had wanted to come, so we appreciate Shirley coming. And you might know Brian Howard, who's our architect and also Huntingtonwood resident. So after planning commission approval, we're coming to you all for a variance that applies on the side yard. We have a home that was built in 1940, and you can kind of see on the drawing there, it's a very small section. It's 33 square feet that goes towards Shirley's side, which is the east side of the property. And so what we are doing is looking for a variance for that small portion. The rest of that side on the east will maintain the 9-foot side, and then we are attaching a garage, and that would be on the 5-foot side. We think that it has that little alcove area doesn't really serve a lot from a functional area. We've got like a chair and a bookcase in there now. But architecturally, it looks kind of neat from the street. We value the architectural integrity of the 1940s home and do want to maintain that. But it does present a unique difficulty that we didn't create. Everything else is within tolerance. So we're really just seeking a very small variance in order to accomplish that. We have no negative impact on the neighbors. We again re-reviewed this with both sets of neighbors. Shirley's on the east and Brad and Lonnie Cohen are on the west side. They both have reviewed it and signed a letter. I have those signatures if you guys want to see those. I'm happy to share them with you. And we think it actually preserves the neighborhood character. Brian did a great job in terms of making sure that it maintains that kind of Tudorish type look, fits within the community, and enhances everything. That's short and sweet.
Great, thanks. Hank?
Okay. You certainly should feel free to interject if there's something you feel that I've missed or whatever. So if you take a look at this, what they're asking for is 3 feet. The reason that they're asking for the 3 feet is by positioning the garage here, it legitimizes this as the 5-foot side. That left the least possible amount for a variance. So when you take a look at it and you see the building line here, and you see where the dotted line crosses right through this alcove or projection, if you will. So you're looking at 3 feet by 10 feet. And that's like 33 square feet is what that is. What you can do is that doing it any other way would have put the balance of this house. Let me get you a front. I know it's in here. There we go. So if you take a look at this, this is kind of a unique house because this is kind of a quasi-Tudor revival. But the start of this is a little bit different and then, and again, this has gone through the planning commission, but the house has a lot of Tudor revival characteristics. And if you take a look at it, this right here, the focal point over the doorway, mimics this right here, which is the existing architectural feature that is one of the keys when it comes to Tudor revival structure. So typically they have one arch that's a little bit bigger than the other. If you take a look at it, they have a stucco half timber. It's typical for that. So this exists, so it's brick. That's what's going to be. Here they took the opportunity to kind of lighten it a little bit and put in this, which is the stucco half timber style of architecture, along with the shed roof, which is consistent with that type of architecture on the front of the house. So having said that, the interesting part about this is that the beauty of the Tudor revivals is the asymmetry of the design. So you typically have things that draw your eye to specific spots on the front. This right here is, if my cursor didn't quit, this right here is the front, this is that bay window. This right here, and again, the street side is to my right, This area right here is all that projects into that, so it's actually 33 square feet. The difference is that if they would have designed this any other way, the mass, which is the square footage, which they are entitled to, they're not over on any square footage, and they're not over on lot coverage. They're just over for what turns out to be this 33 square foot area there. So having said that, again, special or unique conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved, which are not generally applicable to other land, structures, or buildings in the same district. So the answer to that is, there are issues that they have with that, and the issue is that they have a 9,375 square foot lot. The 9,375 square foot lot typically doesn't have the house right in the middle of it because it's set off of one lot and then some point another lot was added to it. So all of the vacant lot on this side that you can see was already on the left side. So, and one of the things with the with the 9,375 square foot lot is that it works out on 99% of them that you can just add an attached garage, which is what everybody does on their forever homes in here. You can't do it without having to shift some things. So they shifted the garage, made that the 5 side. They come up with this on the 3 foot area by 11 area here. The rest of it all meets it except for that space. So that's the thing that's different, is because they can't fit what they have, like most of the lots that are 9,375 square feet, and those are 75-foot lots. The variance will not be injurious to the neighborhood or otherwise detrimental to the general welfare. There's been no adverse communications from residents. The house configuration has been there since built, so it's unlikely that there would be issue. Additionally, both neighbors on each side that are affected by this have signed documents, which you do have the letters in front of you, that they're fine with this incarnation of the plans. And this does come before you with planning commission approval, subject to the variance. So 3, the special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. The configuration of the house on the lot and the lot configuration itself were determined prior to the Kuby ownership. While the house is on a wide lot, the placement doesn't necessarily give them a lot of reasonable expansion options. Again, I just wanted to make sure that you were able to see this, so we put the plans up there. And then 4, a literal interpretation of the provisions of this ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of this ordinance, and that the variance is the minimum necessary. So, again, the placement of the house is somewhat unique. Since the proposed garage is attached, it puts the house, the existing side setback in violation, and there's no room for the plan to work if the garage was flipped. The ask is for 3 feet, and it could be conditioned for that specific 3 feet by 11 feet. So in other words, you can grant a variance for it to project into the required side yards for just that area, so there can be no future expansion in there without it having to come back. So that's one key. You can condition the variance. Based on the design, it was drawn to make the 5 side legit and require the smallest variance of 3 feet for only 11 feet of the side yard for a total of 33 square feet. If it's the pleasure of the board, if you have any other questions, I'm sure that I would be able to take a whack at it, as I'm sure Mr. Kuby and Mr. Howard would be able to as well.
And just so you know, I neglected to mention, so we've been there for like, what, 32 years? Am I right? 32-ish years. 30, longer.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thanks. We're hoping to be here another 30. So really, the idea is are the forever home. So that's kind of the idea with some of the things in terms of attached garage, first floor master. Plus, my parents are in their 80s. If they ever need to move in with us, then we've got that capability. So I just want to give you a little bit of background on why we're doing a lot of it. So hopefully we stay within the woods. We love the community.
Very good. The part about your parents won't be in the variance itself,
I got it.
so
I got it.
it's purely spatial.
Informational.
exactly. Questions or comments from the board?
And could you highlight exactly what the dimensions are we're talking about on this?
So here's what we're looking at here. I'm going to use Mr. Howard's site plan because
Yeah.
it's a little clearer. All that they're looking to have legitimized out of this whole side setback,
Yeah.
this is the whole side setback, is this little hatched area in front. 3 feet by 11 feet going this way. And you can condition it to say that specific area. Part of the thing too is that, and, you know, Shirley Malamutt is here tonight, that's her house to the right.
Mhm.
So she's always had that. She's always had that. If, for example, they couldn't do this and they had to change the way that this was done, it would bring a lot of the mass of the addition over towards her house. This does not. So that was part of the concern that was talked about and addressed at the planning commission. That this way is the least invasive to the person
To
who
both
would be
sides.
most affected by that.
And that 33 square feet is existing?
It's existing.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not a matter of the number of square feet unless we make it particular to that. It's about the
It's
the
about
distance,
the,
the
it's about the
distance,
setback. If it
which
was-
is existing.
If it was the pleasure of the ZBA to grant that, I would condition it for that specific space. The other thing that they could have done, if they shifted the garage more over, the addition comes more over that way, so the mass, the bulk, and the way that it looks completely changes the design.
Hank, if you go to A200, the front elevation, I actually put a line on there showing where that 3-foot line comes through the front elevation, just to show you right there. So that 3-foot dimension there, if we were to slice that 3 feet off the house, that wouldn't look so good.
Yeah. That's,
So, and again, that goes back to kind of what I was talking about the architectural features of a Tudor revival structure.
Just, and this is front facing, this is if we were on Ludlow?
This is, if you're looking on Ludlow,
Okay,
this dotted line here that Brian put in here,
right.
that's where it would be, just to the right of the window would be cut off. And, you know, and you can see, if you take a look at to the left side, you see where the garage is, and you see how the garage is attached to that. There's not a ton of space between the existing wall and the start of the garage. So basically, he's got 2 returns and a door.
And that garage is set back 18 feet off the front of the house.
And the benefit of that is, of course, so that the driveway can hold more. And also, the house next door did have an addition that was quite substantial, so it also gives them a little bit of privacy from that, even though the other house is completely legitimate. It still might be a little bit loud, and the privacy issue for them might not be available. So, it serves a bunch of purposes. It's up to you whether you feel it serves the 4 that are the most important.
Great. Other thoughts or comments from the board?
Yeah, question, Ben. Hank, if you could address, the 4th criteria says that denial of the variance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties
Sure.
in the same district.
Yep.
My question is whether or not a 2-car attached garage is in fact a right commonly enjoyed by other property, a right enjoyed by other commonly,
Okay, so you have,
other properties in the same district.
right, you have 2 concerns there. I will tell you that most houses that are built on or added on the 9,375 square foot, which is the 75 wide lots by the 125 deep in the Bronx subdivision where this is, when they're building new houses, they're building attached garages. So having said that, that's kind of become the norm. 75-foot lots typically would support that. Because of the existing condition of the home and the existing siting of the home on this lot, this particular one doesn't. So what people are looking for is, and, you know, Mr. Howard can speak to this as well, they're looking for garages which could max out at 650 square feet. That's the largest size garage you can have in Huntington Woods. this is not what they're doing here. So as far as, you're looking at or four shall, right? The literal interpretation. So depriving them, what it would be is that the lot, for their purposes and for the expansion that they're looking to do and connection of the garage to the house, couldn't be accomplished really any other way and still have the floor plan that I will point out mostly exists at the front of the house. So that space is kind of defined. So if you're looking around at this and you say, well, is this one of the things that, is this unique, or are you depriving them if you don't let them do it? The answer to that is, again, it has to run with the lot, it has to run with the house, and it has to run with the land. Not so much their situation, but their appeal is predicated on the fact that the lot exists, the house on the lot exists, and the only way to gain the entitled square feet within the envelope, except for that small 33 feet, is to have it designed and done this way, and that's what they presented to the Planning Commission. And the Planning Commission thought that there was enough merit to move it forward to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I would support it if it was limited to that
Okay.
small hashed piece that's shown on the drawing to avoid any expansion. Because we've had an informal, trying to think whether it's this planning commission but basically straight or straight up
Right.
doesn't involve a particular issue.
Less.
Do you mind?
Yeah, I know. I feel blessed. I feel blessed here by most of you.
That doesn't involve a particular issue, and I don't want to get caught in that particular assumption for the next owner, the next 30 years from now. Not that I'll be here. Okay, all right. Yeah, I would support it if it was limited to that small area.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, we can take public comment.
Wait, I have a
Oh,
question,
yes.
sorry. So regardless where the garage is, because I see there was, like, previously the existing garage was further back
Yep.
left corner. So if you just kind of were connecting it more to the back left corner of the house, we still would have the same issue, like regardless where we're putting this.
Yeah,
This,
so
just
as
that
soon
this makes sense.
Yeah, as soon as you have an attached garage versus a detached garage, your setbacks go toward the house. Where you have a detached structure, you can go up to 3 feet to the property.
To the property line, right,
Where-
because you see how
Where we
close
had to
it
go to
is
the 9 and the
existing.
5.
Okay.
Existing is like 6 inches.
Right, it's like,
No, it's
right.
not conforming now,
No.
yeah.
Oh, it's not conforming
No,
anyway.
it's all the way
Okay.
back and it's all the way over
In
on the
the back
side
left
right
No,
now.
corner.
it's-
right.
it's- Yeah, you couldn't build that garage, we couldn't rebuild that garage today.
No.
No.
Okay, so I mean, regardless where we put this garage, we were gonna have this,
You were gonna have the
3
same.
feet issue.
As soon as the Kubies asked me to attach the garage, we
Yep.
fell under the 9 and the 5.
okay.
All right. Any public comment pertaining to 10084 Ludlow?
Hi, I'm Shirley Malamuth. I'm at 10074 Ludlow. So the 3 feet would be on my side, and I'm all for it. I know they'll do it well, and I would like to see them get permission.
Thank you. In under 2 minutes.
Concise.
Okay, Susan Considine here. So I'm wondering if you noticed anything missing from the plans. There's not a single downspout on there. And so I know you came to the joint, you were the only one who arrived at the joint ZBA Planning Commission meeting, and you asked them to take stormwater seriously. And I don't know how you can take it seriously when you have no downspouts. You know, maybe our 40-something lots between Borgman and Henley that are almost an acre, maybe downspouts are irrelevant or not as relevant, but I don't understand. And you can like your neighbor and like their project and still want to know which way their downspouts are going. So I know when I brought it up at the last meeting, the architect, he looked like it was just an oversight. We do have a planning commission checklist that says if there's anything missing, it would result in a delay. Mr. Berry said he has the discretion to waive certain requirements. So I'm asking you to be curious why these requirements were waivable for this house. And should the justification for waiving them have to be documented for the record? And then also, how will the building inspector know what to approve? If they're supposed to go in this direction, that direction? And then what if Shirley did wind up with some water on her property later? What is the record that can go on? And being someone who's been harmed by neighbors' stormwater, and I go back to the original records, and either somebody overlooked it, the building inspector, or the homeowner altered it after the fact, we have no frame of reference. So I'm hoping that you will step in and be curious about why downspouts didn't matter. And also, what will be the record for the building inspector? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We will close public participation and open up the floor for a motion, possibly from Sheldon.
Sheldon, go ahead.
He- Having expressed a
Gonna make me-
version of the
Yeah, okay.
motion.
Move to grant the appeal at 10084 Ludlow for the following variance. Section 40-4.03-1-1A through R-1E, one-family district scheduled regulations for a total side yard setback of 11 feet where 14 feet is otherwise required. The variance is for 3 feet, as it meets the dimensional variance requirements, but is conditioned only upon the specific 33 square feet area that would be in violation based upon the drawings that have been presented.
Okay,
Second.
all right. We have a second.
Two of them.
Bree, second and a third. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion as presented and seconded? All in favor? Okay, opposed? Okay, congratulations, good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Here, I can take these and recycle them.
sure.
These are
I know there's a lot of
nice.
paper.
Yeah,
like, oh, you gave us such good stuff.
make sure, give them the right one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There you are. All right, there you go. Before you're all set? No,
Yeah, we have
you
to
don't, you can
finish,
go,
but
you're
good.
dismissed. We have a final agenda item. We'll open the floor to general public participation, then just, Hank, just to confirm, we don't have any other zoning board business? There's
That
not-
is correct.
Okay,
I have a comment.
Okay.
If I can.
sure.
Hank, it's kind of cautionary. It becomes obvious when you make comments about the various drawings, and I'm asking you to cut back a little bit because it's apparent to the board when you are generally favorable to an application. And I'm suggesting that, not that you have to oppose it, I'm just asking for a little more neutrality in the presentation that you're making to the board.
Appreciate
Because it's
your
up to it's up to the appellant to make their case.
No, I understand. It's just that sometimes what we always do is we try to point out the facts as they exist or as we know them. If that's taken in the respect that we may or may not be a little bit biased, that's not the intent.
Okay,
But I
'cause-
appreciate you bringing it.
Well, I've been on, as you're aware, a number of
Right.
planning commission and zoning boards, and it is readily apparent to me when you think something is,
Okay.
Yeah, I will, I mean, that's, no, the point taken. I find it useful to sort of understand
I think.
what process the sort of the applicant has gone through, what engagement they've had with the city so far, but we certainly know it's our responsibility to
Okay.
look at it on the merits.
Right. And I think that particularly with the zoning board of appeals, some of the facts that they may or may not bring out on their own doesn't mean that the facts don't exist. So if it's perceived in any way other than neutrality, I'll certainly make the effort to take a look at that. But it's designed basically just to put all of the cards on the table.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. That's helpful. Public participation?
I just want to remind you all that our master plan, which was adopted in August of 2022, so almost 4 years now, stormwater management was one of the top concerns of residents. And it just feels like a joke. Come to every meeting, I've gone to so many planning commission meetings, and either some or all downspouts are missing. It's like, who's in charge? You come and you say how important it is. I don't know if you don't feel like you have the ability to step in a project, but somebody's got to take a stand and say, you either cross all your Ts and dot your Is when it comes to stormwater management, or you don't get to come before the board. And especially when we're asking the residents to pay all this extra money for sewers, and this is the way houses are dropping onto driveways and out to the right-of-way, that is all relevant. And it starts with all of you here. And it's just like coming to the planning commission, I guess they think it's not, I mean, maybe you can talk to him off the board. Maybe they don't think it's under their purview. And then maybe take a look at Noack and Fraus's reviews. They really don't measure anything. They say, oh, put a note, there may be seasonally wet in the backyard due to stormwater. And then, add a note, you cannot put it on the neighbor. So they add a note. It cannot go to the neighbor, but nobody measures it. And then when you have people like me and others who get harmed by other stormwater, we get told all this rigmarole about climate change, or they're turned the right way, but it doesn't matter which way they flow. Even the city proved an entire garage was coming to me and my western neighbor, but they wouldn't enforce code. So we're counting on you guys, somebody to take a stand. Who's it going to be? You came and said how important it was. I was hoping Dr. Off would show up because he seems to care about stormwater, but I don't see anybody else. It's really disappointing. You always think that Huntington Woods is so smart, you know.
Thank you, Susan.
Question, that's not for us to.
No, it's the planning commission.
Right, like, we have no say. No, we rule on one variance that's in front of us, right? And if there's a variance and it meets the requirements, we approve it. I'm not gonna deny something because of stormwater. That's not under my jurisdiction, like, that's not my purview. So I think you're in the wrong place. I'm sorry. I just,
All right,
Well, it went
wish-
through the planning commission and they let it go, that same project with no downside.
Again, this is.
Yeah.
a
right,
public comment, not
we
discussion.
can, the public participation is an opportunity for residents to speak on the record,
Yeah.
and
I just had a question about it.
that's fine. Having closing public participation, I will entertain a motion to adjourn for the evening.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned at 8:23. Are we on for next month, do we know?
Probably, but it depends on how they finish this project that's coming up.
All right. That's a big one on,
Which
the
one?
Henry Nadine Pembroke house. That's a,
Is that the one that's like half, the whole backside is like gone right now? It looks like
Sorta.
there's like a fire, but there
it was,
wasn't.
it was mostly flood, water,
Oh, it
wasn't it?
was water.
Or was there also a fire?
There was like water damage,
It was,
Okay.
it was,
And that's what
roof
they're,
and water
Yeah.
damage.
oh, I
Yeah.
see.
So
it's,
they're
it's coming down completely. Is it the
knocking
same?
that down.
They're
Did
gonna
it-
knock it down, okay.
Did we have the motion to adjourn?
Yeah, we're,
Yeah.
we're done.
Good.
We're,
Yep, yep.
we're, this is all.